We made it,
We made it. We made it. Yes,
man.
indeed.
With tech hurdles to boot.
Made it work.
That's okay. We're still going to have a couple of tech hurdles, but like you just said, we'll make it work.
We'll make it work.
Welcome to another Monday and another episode of Get Found
And be seen. Ready to go.
And here we are, changed up. We've kind of like switched spots. Yeah,
I think you can tell.
Well, that's yeah. That maybe not, but that's part of the tech hurdle of whose StreamYard we're streaming from. It's an interesting concept, switching that up. It's kind of like when you're used to being the driver of your car and then you need to be the passenger for whatever reason.
Right.
Like, whoa, I haven't sat in this side of the car very often, if at all.
A different same drive, different feel.
That's right. I couldn't imagine like going over to, I don't know, whatever country with driving on the other side of the road, sitting on the other side of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, maybe I need to be the passenger.
Right. That's how it was in Barbados. Driver's side was on the left side. It's probably different now, but anyway. Yeah.
Funny story real quick. My mom moved to England for a period of time and she became acclimated. And then when she moved back to the States, there was this time I was a passenger in the car and she pulled out and went right on over into the left-hand side into oncoming traffic. It's like, Mom, we're in America now.
We got to switch over quickly.
Woo!
I hear you, man. Got to switch over. So we switched it. We made it happen, though. We made it happen.
Well, let's segue that. Here's expectations.
Right.
Expectations of what the norm is and then how we perceive them. And then sometimes you got to make a quick lane adjustment. Whoa.
Right.
Sales pages. Right. There's an interesting topic, for a lack of a better word there.
Mm-hmm.
Sales pages that expectation, not just a sales page, but a funnel sales page.
Right.
What is the difference between a sales page and a funnel sales page? I don't know for sure at this point, but the idea is the sales page that is in some kind of funnel builder. And so they want you to have the structure a certain way because that's the best way to do it.
Right.
For everybody?
That's your favorite, by the way. My sarcasm.
Yeah. Well, and also the always, never, everybody, nobody thing. I'm like, there's always an exception.
Right. There is.
There's always the exception. So whenever somebody says, oh yeah, you need to have a sales page with an order form bump and a one-time offer and an upsell and a downsell and a follow-up and an email sequence and that's a little overwhelming.
Right. It is.
I've helped a couple different people that have been in that washing machine cycle. and right. Just not making any headway because they're trying to get the thing to work and there's so many moving pieces. Again, it's overwhelming.
Right. True. I personally love it and I geek out about that stuff, but I see it, and just even you sharing experiences with me and even seeing it with people in our circles, it pains me sometimes to see their pain when they go through it, but also it depends on the specific one, the brand, the specific type and who's doing it or who's providing it. And that can make you go, and we've had conversations about that.
Oh, which is the diversity part, and the not one solution's the right one for everybody.
Right.
because you have all the variables. Again, like I just sarcastically ask, really for everybody? Well, because some people, have these variables. And so therefore their target audience is turned off by an upsell and an upsell and an upsell afterwards. Which, there's my story, the worst one I've ever seen ever. I bought a light for my mom, just a solar powered parking lot type of light. And I get to the end and I'm like, okay, complete sale. And it's, oh, thanks for your purchase. Would you be interested in 2 lights at a 75% of the original cost? No, I just need 1 light. Thank you. Like, okay, would you be interested in 3 lights at a 65% cost? No, I'm not. Would you be interested in 4 lights at a 50% rate?
Wow.
No, I wouldn't. Would you be interested in a case lot of 12 at 25% of the original price per unit? I'm like, are you kidding? I ordered 1 and you're offering me 12 after I declined a second, a third, and a fourth? Wow. So there's that. Everybody does it different. I don't think I've seen anyone teaching that model.
Yeah, that's like that's the Sesame Street model with count 1.
Yeah, I guess.
2,
Holy moly.
3.
But it gave that feeling I've heard before of the gauntlet. I just want my thing,
Right.
I want it to be, which, here's the little gold nugget for that situation. You just X out.
Yeah.
Unless you have a confirmation page thing that you have to get to. Typically, at that point, I check my email, and if I have a receipt, I just close it out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could definitely annoy people. You're going even past 2 or 3.
Right.
I mean, some of us look to see the process even as marketers, but the average person is just like, okay, I need to get to my next destination.
Now, again, though, variables, though, it's like, hey, this is a high ticket item, and the person might not be able to afford the high ticket. So potentially it's hey, how about a payment plan? Or how about a smaller version at a lower cost? Or, there's the downsell part plays a strategic role in the right places. But like with any strategy, it needs to be implemented correctly and not just thrown out there because, well, it's a strategy. Let's use it.
Right. And yeah, hopefully those cases don't give the 25 upsell options
in the process, right? But even you've related to me in the past some of that same struggle with your first, because here's the thing, it's usually your first one that we're talking about, because after you've become proficient. But then again, that depends between the time between the first and the second one. And if you're on the same platform, because maybe the first one you decided you didn't want to go through that again, so you've switched platforms, or you got into a challenge and now you want to try that platform.
Right. Yeah, for me it's it's the first time, if it's the first time or if it's a new main offer I have, right? And then I want to do an upsell and then a one-time offer. I'm like, oh, which one should I put here and which one would make the most sense? But what helped me out was to have the mindset of just test it out and see. I want to be accurate as possible and figure out what's going to work. But I've had that mindset from the entertainment side of things. You test things out to see what's going to work with the people, and then read the audience, and then be able to adapt quickly. So that mindset helped me out a ton. But before, it's just like, man, what should I do? I've stressed out about it, actually. It's probably referring to the time you're talking about. That if it is that specific time, I stressed out because I didn't know, and then it was hard to make a choice, and then I was in limbo, and it just delayed things longer for me, as far as getting my offer out.
Well, and I think that's an interesting period of time. let's back up a little bit, because I think that people are worried about exactly what you were describing there.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go to our first one, we haven't even got it built yet, and I didn't even get mine built yet, and I'm worried about those things and how to make that work. And I've helped other people that's where their focus was the whole, what is the right thing, what's the right combination, how to put it together. But more so was the tech side, how to put it together. How do I make all that work? And that's where the all-in-one platforms say, well, don't worry about it, this automatically makes it work.
Right.
But it doesn't.
Yeah, there's
It
more to
doesn't
it.
automatically make it work.
Yeah.
It makes it all in one spot, so it's theoretically easier to connect. But all of those things still have to have the stuff connected together. You know, you can't just type in the copy and hit save and you're done. There's there's a product involved. There's an upsell product or a downsell product or an OTO product or a bump product or all these other things out there. And then you got to connect those up in the right spots. And then you have your Stripe account and or your PayPal account, or maybe you need both. And then just all those different things.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and so take us back to your first funnel. Was that with ClickFunnels?
It was with ClickFunnels. Yeah, but
how long did it take to get it functional?
Well, technically, my first one was a dance course, and it took a while because it took me a while to record my videos. But once I did, it was such a learning curve because, I mean, I am a fan of ClickFunnels, but when I used it, you know, I was like, "Ooh, this is a huge learning curve for me." So I had to take, probably want to say, it took me 3 months to get it going, as far as getting the back end stuff set up, getting the videos on. I'm saying all that in there because it was all in one. And I did put order bumps in there as well. That was a 90-day process. Perhaps even longer, because I think I even got frustrated and put it down, which happens to a lot of people. And then I picked it back up. And then that process was 90 days, if I can remember. So it was a process. It wasn't, in my mind, oh yeah, get this done in like 3 days. Yeah, woohoo. Nah.
So let me ask you, is this the timeline that you spent? You figured out how all that bump and order upsell and downsell and how that was going to work for you, and then you went in to try and connect it all together and struggled on that?
Yeah, it was a mixture, because for me, I was excited about it. I geeked out about it, but it still didn't work for me.
But I was just wanting to pinpoint, were your thoughts struggling with just the concept part of tying it all together, the bump order and the one-time offer and the sales page and all that stuff? Did you put thought process into that before you ever tried to connect the tech together?
I did. I didn't map it out though. Did not map it out. I mean, that question is kind of relative, because it's like, it was a quick thought. It wasn't a strategic timed thought. Like, even that's a whole skill set in it of itself. That's why. So I didn't take a long time to do that. I was like, okay, this makes sense. This is how I want to do it. But getting into it was hard. But that beginning initial process was of the whole, like engineering it, per se, for lack of better words. That was a short time frame for me as far as thinking it through. Whereas opposed to now, I would have mapped it out. I would have, and I have more of a beat of it, but at least I still would have mind mapped it out and put my steps in there. But I didn't have the skill set to do that. I didn't know how to do that.
Right. Yeah, of course. You've grown since then. That was your first experience.
Exactly.
Right.
I say that to say, because that's a whole process in it of itself, and no one taught me that as I was learning it,
So I was just trying to compare your journey with one of my clients' journeys, where they were caught up in that, how does it work? and I guess maybe it's a great realization from comparing yours to theirs, and how they went from, I'm trying to connect the tech together and I'm not really making it work. And so I think they subconsciously shifted to, well, what are the things going to be anyway? Maybe I'm not going to think about where I'm stuck,
Right.
because I'm going to think about the next step and how to put that together. And maybe that will reveal something that will help me here, which typically doesn't. But I think that was where the thought process was, because that's where I see
Right.
more than one person
Yeah.
struggling with the concept of it all.
Right.
And I say more than one person is because I struggle with the concept of it all.
Right. Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, for me, it was in there. Like I can't put it into steps, because what happens is when you're overwhelmed, it's all gray. It's all gray. It's all confusing, and it's hard to unpack all that. You know what I mean? But
I like that.
that's
Unpack that.
Yeah, it's hard to unpack it, because you're in, and plus, we remember too, we purchased a product and we're excited about it, and we want to put our offers in there and set everything up. So in our excitement, we want to get it done, but the overwhelm comes too, because there's a lot of steps to it. There's a lot to it. That's the reality. And
Well,
when
there's
it's
all
so,
those things that
Mhm.
it's connected to, that are part of the thought process,
Mhm.
that I want to use all these features. I want to do this autoresponder thing, the email follow-up sequence. I want to
Mhm.
do all these other things that are attached. I have all these other offers that I want to offer them. I want,
Right.
and it
Right.
boils down to, again, we're not focusing on what's at hand. And
Mhm.
I let's unpack that. I that's what I've got here. It's and this is what helped my clients so much. We
Mhm.
boiled it down to, it's like, well, what is it that you need to do right now? Because
Yeah.
it was their first one. They're like, I need to sell my course.
Yeah.
Well, we need a sales page that will take money, because previously they were manually talking to someone on Zoom and
Yeah.
then manually charging them,
Yeah.
and everything was manually done. You couldn't
Right.
just send them to a sales page to complete the form and give them a receipt and all those parts. Just the simple part. That's just take the money, send a receipt.
Yeah.
It's like, at this point, if you can't click a button, put in, if your customer, if your client can't go to your web page, click on a button, enter their credit card information, and submit, and have it charge their card, give you the
Mm.
money, and send them a receipt,
Right.
the bump and the one-time offer and everything else that you're thinking about is moot. Does not matter.
Mhm. Yep.
And until you get that first step, understanding how it all functions and works together is also moot.
Right.
So so of course we want to add them into an email list. We want to
Yeah.
have that email sequence. We're going to need that members area. We're going to have a place for the course. We need to have all those things. And it seems
Mhm.
so wonderful if they were just all in one location.
Yeah.
And at some point, that is going to be very advantageous, especially when you have 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, whatever sales pages, funnels, things to sell.
Mhm.
But possibly at that very first one, because I was in the ClickFunnels thing for 18 months. And when I finally got it, I mean, it didn't take me 18 months to figure out how to make it work. I made it
Mhm.
work before that, but there were other things that I wasn't sure about. And so
Right.
therefore, after 18 months of pain, a couple $100 a month, it didn't pay for itself at that point, because I hadn't built anything, because I was still learning all that stuff.
Mhm.
And I now looking back, here's one of those few times where I actually say, hey, if I'm going to look back to my previous self and tell myself to do something, it would be figure out how to just sell something and leave all the rest alone until you can sell the something. As soon as you can sell it, then add the next piece. When that works, add the next piece. When that works, add the next piece. But making it all try to go at once is what took me so long to get through it all, because I couldn't see the big picture.
Makes sense. As you say, half steps.
And that's what finally
Yeah.
I realized, and that's where Thrivecart for me was the answer, because I was able to just simply go in and make a page that sold something and took money. I didn't advertise that. I didn't promote that. I didn't run with that.
Yeah.
I scrutinized it and said, oh, that's how it works. Okay, what's most important now? Well, for me, it was, let me get the email thing happening. So when someone actually buys it, they start getting the right the things saying, here, use it. Here's where you log in. Here's the instructions.
Right. Yeah.
You know, once I got that in place, I was able to focus and say, okay, well, what's the bump? Let me just think about the bump. That's the easiest thing, just to add in there right on the front page, because that's part of I got to plug in my credit card part.
Right.
And then from there, got that in, got the product, got that all connected, did the test. Hey, it worked. Okay. Then I was able to go, what's the one-time offer? So each step of that was that half step.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense.
So again, like you said, you love ClickFunnels, and there's nothing wrong with ClickFunnels or Go High Level or Funnel Gorgeous or any of those other all-in-one builder platforms.
Right.
It's just that it's not for everybody at every point in their journey.
Well put. Well put. So true. So true. And you know, it's and I appreciate you bringing that to light. And one of the challenges I find is that sometimes people you don't know what you don't know. So what you said is very key right there. It's very important, even for our audience listening. Like if you find yourself in that position, it's like, you know, there's something to consider. You know, what is going to work best for you. You don't know till you go through it to some extent too. But at least having the knowledge and the information is a very good first step.
Yeah, going through it. I like what you said there. That's similar to my ideal client map and the thought track and going through it. It's like,
Right.
okay, well, let's go through the sales page. Let's go through the thought track of the sales page, of the journey of the funnel.
Right.
What is someone going to experience when they're going through here? And for me, that was easier to fill in the blanks.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to have what's the best order form bump? What's the best bump? And when I was trying to piece it all together ahead of time, there was so much noise going on. I wasn't able to focus on the right thing. Once I got down there, it's like, okay, now it's working. If I send someone to the sales page, they're going to click the button and fill in their stuff and go right past. There's no bump. Oh, okay. Now I've just described what they're going to do. What would be the best thing to put into the process? And again, like you say, test it out. You don't need to find the absolute perfect thing. You need to find something that makes sense and start testing it out.
Yeah, so true. I love how you lay things out. Man, you got to have, I'm not sure if you're going to have something or you do have something like in your videos, but even breaking that down like that was so well put. And I see that definitely being helpful for people.
Yeah, that's what I'm working on. I got it written down, and now the visuals next. Yeah, absolutely.
Man, that's great. That's great. I think you have a comment too.
Let's pull that up. I need to get that in there.
Hey.
Look at that. Mr. Robert. Boom. The expectation of what is being sold by all-in-one platforms compared to actual implementation is drastically different. Indeed.
Yeah.
Trying to get it to show the whole comment.
Yeah.
Here I am in the wonderful tech hurdle parts.
Yeah, you're quick.
Come on,
And
StreamYard.
Monday morning, you're quick. I'm like, oh, AI. Oh, what is that?
All in one. Yeah, but that's my topic. That's my
right. That's your jam. Yeah.
That's right.
Good stuff, Robert. Love it. That's a great point he makes too. Yeah.
Well, and Robert struggled through that same journey. You know, he got things going, but it took him many steps. And and that's pretty common. That's not a unique situation. ClickFunnels has a weekly support chat. I think it's actually more than once a week. I think it's
They have a
several times.
training.
Not
Yeah, they have trainings, which is like weekly trainings. I
then
checked.
there's the trainings, but there's a like a live, at least when I was back in, it's been a couple years, but I just like it was early in the morning for me, but I just log in. He was there for 4 hours. It was Dante was his name. Same guy for months and months and months and months. And he knew how to connect your one-time offer, how to make the bump appear, how to, all those questions. And I would sit in on those and learn stuff because I was struggling through all those same steps.
Right.
And but there's that's the thing. They know, the all-in-ones know it's not easy. It's simpler, I guess.
Yeah, simpler, but not easy.
Well, because the thing is that it doesn't take away any of the components. It just puts them all into one place. And on one hand, that seems very convenient. Actually, I shouldn't say seems. On one hand, there is a lot of convenience there. And for some people who are paying 12 different costs for 12 different things that are included in the all-in-one, I haven't met anyone that's using that many features of an all-in-one.
Yeah.
So there's that. But you look at the stack and how much it's valued, but I'm only using a portion of it. So is it really valued that much?
Right.
But still, the point I was going for there is that it's still the same stuff. You still have to connect the autoresponder, whether the autoresponder is inside the same component with your funnel, or if the autoresponder, you got to connect it by an API token key or some other step. And that's what usually people are like, yeah. I get to avoid that. I don't have to do the API key thing.
Right.
It'll just all be in the all-in-one. What I discovered helping people was, but you still have to go find where the spot is and be able to connect the right thing to the right sales funnel and have the right trigger to make it happen.
Right.
So there's still all those same components.
Right.
They name them differently.
Right. Or you might not like the quality of it. Like that's for me. My autoresponder, I don't use ClickFunnels. I use something else. I simply use MailChimp because peace of mind. So for me, there's a value in using that product because it's a peace of mind for me, so
there's an interesting topic to side step into really quickly there. Is that when you have your stuff in your all-in-one, then your stuff is in the all-in-one. And if that all-in-one has an issue, or if you have an issue with the all-in-one, then all your stuff's in the all-in-one, which you could say about anything. But then again, if your email is in MailChimp and you are not happy with it and you'd like to move it, you can do that because it doesn't affect anything else.
Right. Excel sheet, boom.
Right. And there's a good, I think it's a good idea, regardless of where your email your list is that you get that sheet regularly. It's like you're backing up your photos on your computer. Back up your email list from the cloud.
Right. Got to do it.
But back to the main point, the all-in-ones and having everything all in one spot. There's that convenience, and you pay extra for the convenience. Right. So in my scenario, and someone who's trying to figure out how to get it all working and how the big picture actually works together, an all-in-one is too soon. I think that other platforms, other ways of doing it, Shopify, even Wix, there's other platforms that will easily put stuff together to give you the basics so that you can start understanding this is how it's supposed to work.
Right.
And I chose Thrivecart because it was a one-time cost. I set stuff up in it. If I decide I want to go to an all-in-one platform, I don't need to figure out how to transfer everything. I just need to go to the all-in-one platform and start doing the new stuff in the new platform, and the Thrivecart platform will continue doing what I set it up to do. And I can place anything at my convenience, rather than being usually the transition between one platform and another is this, oh my gosh, I got to use their service so that we can suck all the information out and shoot it in over here. And otherwise I'm going to be spending months rebuilding everything. And that's kind of what they do. They try to get you in there to spend months building stuff, and then you're invested. You don't want to leave. I don't want to lose all that time I invested into figuring this out. I don't have to figure out something new. I don't like this, but I don't want to go to something else and then not like that either.
Right. Been there. Absolutely. It's true, you know, and that's what they do. And it comes back to that peace of mind. They got that peace of mind, like, okay, yeah. Or I want to be able to, I'll tackle it later on. I'll tackle it 6 months from now, but I need to work on this specific thing right now. You know, but that's true. That's on point.
So that's what drove me towards finding the half-step solution to just start being able to, you know, because the other great thing about Thrivecart is that I didn't have to have, I don't have to use Thrivecart's sales page. It could just be a cart that pops up on my own website. So again, I already had a WordPress website, so I didn't necessarily have to change that. I could just use the Thrivecart pop-up addition, and boom, it did all that stuff I talked about. It charged the customer. It gave me the money. It gave them a receipt, and it sent them an email that I got to put in whatever I wanted, like the link to whatever. If it was a members area, or if it was a PDF to download, or if it was a website, it was just all right there.
Right. So I love that. You know, even hearing you, it's like you found the things, the options that helped you and gave you a peace of mind, that help you to navigate, and not just for you, for your clients as well. Correct?
Right. Yeah. I found the steps so that way I could start testing if that was a widespread option or just a one-off for me.
Right.
And the concept is what's important. It's not the Thrive part that's important.
Right.
It's I need a platform. I need a place that can take money, take money from my client, give it to me, give them a receipt, and have the final email so that I don't have to do any of that by hand.
Right.
That's the half step. That's the part where it's like, I can build off of that.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think that's the powerful statement there. It's like beforehand, I was building, and it's kind of like, you know, you got the whole big box of Legos and no instructions. It's like you can build all kinds of stuff. And I'm one of those people. I start building, and then I like building other stuff, and it's going wrong. But if I got the instructions,
right,
it's like, oh, let me find those pieces. Okay, let me do it like this. Okay, let me do this. And the instructions are like, just do this box. Find these 4 pieces and put them together like this.
Right.
I don't have to worry about all the rest of them.
Right. You find those things. You IKEA'd it. I'm not sure if you have an IKEA on the West Coast, but
yeah, well, I mean, that's pretty global, I think. But
yeah,
I love making fun of those instructions.
No, that makes sense. That, you know, it's yeah, comes back, like I mentioned, peace of mind, man. That is so key, especially when you got to get things done. It's so important, you know. And so I love what we're talking about today, and this giving people options, giving people that think, you know, even you mentioned some platforms, you know, we're not talking about affiliates and nothing like that, unless you want to.
Well, I am a Thrivecart affiliate, but that was not the point here. The point, the big point is about the strategy of the half step.
The strategy of the half step, and you give people options. You know, you know, that's what I get out of it. The whole peace of mind is super helpful, especially when you got to get stuff done.
You know, and so not just Thrivecart. You know, so if you know, you're saying it could be an affiliate, right? You know, but there's other places to have sales pages, landing pages.
Mhm.
You know, that's a whole other topic. Landing pages, sales pages, web pages, the difference between them,
Difference.
what they're supposed to do, and all that kind
Right.
of stuff. But so Thrivecart, ClickFunnels, WordPress. I was using WordPress. You can have a variety of sales pages on a
Yeah.
WordPress. Auber, or any email responder, but
Right.
Auber's my affiliate. So if we're going
Auburn.
to talk affiliate stuff, Auber is a great simple autoresponder for emails, and you can set up a landing page. In fact, they have a way to take money. You can set up your Stripe or whatever inside of Auber, and actually make sales inside of Auber on their landing page. So you don't have to have a big setup for stuff. Here's just the email responder gives you enough to do all those things that we just unpacked out. Taking the money,
Right.
giving it to you, giving the receipt, sending the email. Oh, and then actually, because it's integrated all in one, the email sequence afterwards is going to be really integrated right into that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
It's
the
good you
many
mentioned those.
ways of getting it done.
Different ways, many ways. I love it. Options. And I'm glad you mentioned those too, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, those are, again, I went out on a search for each component. When I left ClickFunnels, it's like, okay, I need to fulfill all of those things, and I know I
Right.
need to go a third party or whatever you want to call it. I need individual things, and then figure out how to tie them together. So
Right.
I'm going to be helping other people. So I want to find the easiest way to show people how to take these half steps. And
Yeah.
again, I consider this the half step solution. It's not the final solution. This
Mm-hmm.
is just to build some momentum. This is
Right.
that, before you jump in the bobsled and go down the course, you're on the outside push. Well, at least one guy's on the outside pushing. Somebody's pushing.
Right.
You got to build some momentum.
That's right. Get that momentum. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I love, I love the concept of the half step, man. I am all for that, dude.
That's what
That's a good
helped
one.
me to and so to finish that thought, I got off track, pushing the bobsled. But the idea, I went out, Thrivecart, went out, email, Auber, went out. Where can I put my sales videos? Lots of different places to put videos. Again, I'm looking at the dashboard. What's the simplest dashboard that'll do what I need it to do? And so Voomly is where I ended up on that one. Video hosting is fairly simplistic no matter where you go, but it seems like they all want to try and expand on more, especially with AI coming out with all these extra features. So it's imperative at this stage in the journey to just take those half steps and say, let me just do this. I know there's this whole other side of it, but until this works, that doesn't help. So I just focus on getting that to work.
Right. Yeah, that's good stuff, Monty. Those are some great tips and great tools to help people become unwhelmed.
Yes, that's the journey from overwhelmed to unwhelmed, or at least having a mechanism to deploy when you're feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah,
because I still feel overwhelmed. I just have a mechanism to do that. Let me unpack it. Let me look at the bigger picture, break it down, figure out what's imperative. Where is that fulcrum point that nothing else matters?
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Good stuff, man. This is a good topic today. I hope people watching and listening can understand that these are some great tools and options to help you become unwhelmed. Big deal.
And take that half step.
Take that half step. That's right. That's right.
What was nice was being focused on this, because you can't move on until you get this locked down. There's some of these other side steps that we kind of touched base on that that's where we'll dive into further in the future.
Right.
And how some of these things interact with each other. And then some of those other half steps and how I connected them together so that I could build some momentum.
Right. Love it. Good stuff. Anything else you want to talk about, Monty? This was some meat today. This was some
Yeah,
steak
we,
today.
we could go in further, but I think that's far enough. And again, we'll look back on this episode, find those tidbits of where some of the topics we're going to go, and see
Right.
what would be the logical next step. Because
Right.
this is pretty much a journey.
It is. It is. And also, guys, let us know if there's anything else with what we talked about today that you'd like us to talk about. Let us know. Put in the comment area. Put in the chat area.
Yes, please. If you are either just resonating, it's like, yes,
Yeah.
I was in that same boat, or if you are experiencing that now and have specific questions, that would be great. I would be happy to impart my information of my journey, because I sailed the stormy seas.
I remember you shared it, man. But it's great to see your journey and to see the struggle, and to see you navigate through it, and to see you be able to help people with it because of your story.
Well, and hopefully I can help them gain confidence.
Right on. That's
Because
important.
I know that's your jam.
That's my jam. The confidence when you show up on camera or on stage. And that is intertwined with this as well, because some of these pages, it's good to have video, which is another
Absolutely.
topic.
But it also intertwines, because that confidence, that and in your realm, you're saying of showing up and presenting, and in my realm, it's focusing in and taking the half steps.
Right.
But it's still the same thing of, hey, let me build some confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the journey.
That's the journey. Get to that destination.
Well, cool. So let's talk about that for a split moment here, Mr. Carl. In that video world of gaining confidence, if someone were looking for various ways to improve their speaking and presentation confidence, where could they go?
So if you want to improve your speaking confidence on camera or on stage, you can visit carlalene.com. And that's my platform. And it's all things Carl. But look me up. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation.
You have a lot to talk about, Mr. Carl.
Oh, yes.
And if you want to explore the options of ThriveCard or Auber, or have questions on my specific tech hurdle journey and how it relates to yours and how it might help you, there it is, montyarmstrong.com. There's lots of things, Monty, there.
Right.
I think I'm going to be focusing that in a little bit more here in the next couple of weeks as we travel on this journey.
Right on.
So thanks for showing up, and we will see you again next week for another episode of Get Found
and Be Seen. We'll talk to you soon.
All righty. Take care.